We are back.
Yes, we are. We are back, and are we better than ever, Mike?
Well, we're back.
Episode 9, and it is...
Love's in the air.
Or we could call it marriage.
Hey, let's roll the titles and tell everybody where they can find us.
Oh, that's a great idea.
All right, be right back. Welcome to What We Watch When We Drink, a booze dancing media podcast featuring lively discussions about movies, TV shows, and anything else that we're watching while we drink our favorite boozy libations. If you enjoy this podcast, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever else you get your podcasts. If you can't find us there, just go to boozdancing.com. And if you have questions, comments, you want to send us some love letters or some breakup letters, or what do they call that? Dear John letters?
Dear Johns.
Dear John. Although none of us are John, but that's okay.
Now I believe they're emails, or text.
That's yeah, that's fine. Text us. Or just send us an email at boozdancing@gmail.com, and we will, gladly respond to whatever you guys have to ask.
Well, we are gathered here with love around us, with all the love in the world, because it's Valentine's Day coming up.
Nice.
Did you guys do your shopping? Did you get something for your much, much better halves?
No.
I dug a hole for myself as normal, so I'm well on my way.
Is that your gift?
That's a good gift. I never thought of that.
6 by 6 foot hole in the ground?
I only go 3 feet deep. I don't want to give her too much.
Did you buy a shovel for her too, or you just do the digging?
I don't want to give her the shovel. I might get it to the back of the head.
How about a bag of lime?
Well, naturally, she's Nabladan. She has a bag of lime.
Oh, the Kumara. The Kumara. I got you. So, Aaron, tell us, what are we doing tonight?
We are talking, we're going to look at things that kind of go with Valentine's Day a little bit, at least to start.
So are we going to go right into that, or do we want to talk about what we've been watching first? Or wait, most importantly of all, we should pour ourselves a drink.
Ooh, I love drinking. Let's do that.
Did you forget?
Drinking is always good.
My God.
So what do we got, boys?
I started early.
I am actually not doing whiskey tonight.
Whoa.
I'm going to go a little different.
Going off the rails.
Not off the rails. I think I'm just kind of taking a sidestep, going into another spirits category. A little product that we reviewed a while ago called Skeptic Ginquila.
Oh, I know that one.
I know, and I
Is
like
that
it a
the
lot.
tequila in gin barrels or the gin and tequila barrels?
Gin and tequila
Gin
barrels.
tequila, right?
And then it's like infused with all this crazy fruit and spices and all kinds of stuff. What do you got there?
I got the Kilhoman original cask STR.
Nice.
A little bit that was left. Thought I'd finish it tonight.
Hey, by the way, you know what I really like about this Ginquila bottle? They put like a really nice pourer on top.
Yeah,
It's a
It doesn't
really
slop
cool
on.
pour.
So
I'm
it
watching
doesn't
that pour
slop.
out. That's nice.
Perfect for the
good.
kids.
It's good. So are we all
How about
poured?
you?
Oh, what do you have?
I have Single Malts of Scotland, Ardmore, 21-year-old. And I believe this is from our friends at Impex, from Sam Filmus.
Yes, absolutely. And that was a good one too. That's really
I
nice.
think you guys reviewed it, right?
We did.
We did.
And it was quite delicious. So, gentlemen, cheers.
Oh, this smells so good. Oh my God, this smells so good.
You know, this one is fun. And it's just, you get the gin, but then you get the fruit and you even get that little bit of tequila. It's just a really, really nice little spirit. And I like it straight.
Yeah, I've had it. I've cracked that thing open a couple times and had it straight. I like Ardmore when it's peat. The peated Ardmores are so good.
They are.
All right, boys. We are talking rom-coms. We're talking things that we watched. Who wants to go first with a rom-com that they might have gone through? Or 2, or 6?
Or all of them.
Movies? Yeah, let's talk movies, not so much TV shows. In preparation for this evening, last night I rewatched Palm Springs, which I really enjoy. And over the weekend...
Andy Samberg?
Correct. Andy Samberg. What's the woman's name? Kristen Milotti?
I don't know her.
She was in How I Met Your Mother.
She's the mother.
She's the mother in How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, that's her. Okay.
What's her name, Mike? She's a Jersey girl, right?
Kristen
She's from the
Milotti.
neighborhood.
She went to Cherry Least.
Oh, that's right. That's right. All right. She went to our
Kristen
son's
Milotti.
school.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. She's really good. And who else is in it? J.K. Simmons, Peter Gallagher, and a few other folks. Girl that's on Search Party, I can't think of her name, and a whole bunch of other folks. But that is just a really, really good movie. I think it's just perfect. It's like Groundhog Day on crack. if you will. It's just fun. It is just a really, really fun movie. It's got a lot of heart. It's funny as hell. It's a little weird. The music's great. It's beautiful to watch. And I've never been to Palm Springs. Weren't you at Palm Springs regular as a youth?
I was, yes, many times.
Used to go there quite a bit?
Yeah, my parents had a weekend home in Palm Desert, which is another suburb of the area. Yep.
Is there a portal into like a time loop that you know of?
There is not. No.
There is not. That makes me sad.
Not as far as I know. Maybe if you head out into the hills, into the canyons, you might find something.
You head further out.
When you get off, maybe in one of the Native American reservations, you might be able to find some thing that might get you to that portal loop. If it's crushed or smoked or something.
It's a really, really good movie. You haven't seen it. Neither one of you have seen it, right?
I have not.
Yeah.
It's on my list.
It's highly entertaining. It's got a lot of energy. It's short. It's like an hour and 40 minutes. It's just a lot of fun.
I've always been sort of up and down on Andy Samberg.
Well, he kind of won me over with this, and he won me over with Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I like him in both of those.
The boys. That was the boys' summer, project. They blew through the Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and they just love it.
Yeah, my thing is I don't like Saturday Night Live. For me, that all ended like maybe 81, 82 after like Eddie Murphy and those guys left that crew.
Yeah.
So it doesn't do it for me. So I don't watch it. I just never do.
25 years, probably 30 years.
No, I watch it under duress. But he won me over in this one. But you have to respect the talent pool that what's his name? Lorne Michaels.
Yeah.
Lorne Michaels. Oh my gosh.
I mean, the talent pool is ridiculous. I mean,
it's ongoing.
He is like the Popovich of TV.
Keeps cranking them out.
Just
the family tree from him is just insane.
Oh, it's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, he spawned like billions of dollars in box office revenue from people that have spun off of there. So I watched that last night. I've also watched. I went back and watched Lost in Translation. That's a really good movie. That's more like a mood to me.
It's a mood movie.
It's a style.
It's beautiful to watch. I like the performances. They're very low key. Bill Murray's very low key. Scarlett Johansson's just really young, and it's good. It's really, really good.
Whiskey's featured in it. It's just great.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because there's the one scene at the bar. And it's like, oh, Hibiki 17. We had that once. Many times.
What year is that movie? Approximately.
Like 2002, something like that.
So that's like, we're talking 20 years ago, right?
Yeah,
just about.
Kind of predates this
2003.
It predates this whiskey boom, right?
Oh, Hibiki wasn't even a thing yet here.
No.
I don't think.
Right? Ring a ding ding.
When did Suntory? Suntory launched maybe a couple years after that?
Probably, yeah.
Or maybe it was just a niche market and it wasn't really coming here yet.
Totally niche. I mean, they were even in Japan, I'm guessing it was relatively smallish.
Right.
Suntory Fun Time, right?
More intensity. More intensity. I love the whole thing where they sent the guy, whoever hired him, that paid him $2 million to do the ad. They sent a prostitute to his room. Yeah. And he doesn't know what the hell to do with her. It's like, what? I lip my stockings. It's like, what? What are you saying? It was just hysterical. Then he tries to do what she says, and then she plays the victim role. It was just out of control. It was funny as hell. It's good. It's really good. And the last one I watched recently was Always Be My Maybe. It's on Netflix. And it's with Ali Wong.
Oh, yes. I did see that.
And Randall Park.
Oh, my God. That is so funny. That's what's his name? Is in it as himself?
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves. Oh my God, that's so funny.
Movie's hysterical. It is just hysterical.
It's very funny. I like Randall Park. He's really funny.
He is really good. I like him in the Marvel stuff.
Yeah,
he's really good in that. And did you ever watch the show he's on? That Fresh Off the Boat.
Fresh Off the Boat.
My wife watches it.
It's good. It's a cute show.
I've seen it for a little bit. It's very networky. It's good. Is he a stand-up comedian?
I think he did stand up, but I like the movie. It was really good. It's really
very sweet, and it's a very current kind of rom-com. I mean, we could talk about the nature of rom-coms and where they've changed and where they've gone over the years. You know, the rom-coms from the 1940s are not the same what we have today, but there's more tension, I guess. Now there's a need to have a little bit of ugliness, maybe a little bit, instead of the old-fashioned kind where it's all fun and nice and pretty.
So I did a little research last night. The first critically acclaimed rom-com was It Happened One Night with Clark Gable and Claudette Colbert.
Yep.
Won 5 Oscars.
Yeah.
The big 5.
I always thought that would be a remake-y movie.
Actor,
Maybe. I never saw it.
Director, picture, and screenplay.
Yep.
It won all 5. So that was like one, I guess the first big rom-com. And then the other 2 that they mentioned, but the other ones they mentioned were Bringing Up Baby, which is really good from what I remember.
I saw that.
That's with Katharine Hepburn and Cary Grant.
Yeah.
And then the Philadelphia Story. Was that with Jimmy Stewart?
Yep.
Is he in that?
Yes,
Cool, Mike. You're our fountain of knowledge.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You can't just nod, man.
Yes.
It's a podcast. Say yes. So yeah, they've changed. And then they mentioned that like in the 50s and 60s, they kind of became like more like sexy rom-coms.
Yep. I think that was true of the 70s. Was very as television was the same way. TNA and
I think the 60s you had the Rock Hudson, Doris Day kind of things that carried on, and you had Some Like It Hot, some of those things where, again, like you were saying, you kind of walk the line. It's a little more risque. Marilyn Monroe's in something. It's obviously going to be a little risque.
Yeah. A little risky.
But in the 70s, you're really pushing the limit on language and the style of humor. 80s kind of changed that. In the 90s, definitely, it was far more edgy. You got more serious topics as the underlying story. Like even Pretty Woman, it's prostitution.
It's Cinderella. What are you talking about? It's a Disney flick, right?
Except Cinderella is a prostitute and not a maid.
Cinderella's a who? The other thing I think you found a lot more of were the rom-coms overlaid with coming-of-age movies in the 70s and 80s as well.
Right.
Animal House, things like along those lines overlapped with a lot of the rom-coms as well.
That's a good point. Some of those teen-type movies of the 80s and 90s, there's always a love quotient to those movies. I mean, definitely the John Hughes things. There was always a, rich girl or a poor guy or some
Breakfast Club, 16 Candles.
They're all
any of those.
There's always
Pretty in Pink.
How are these kids going to get together in the end? There were regular, of course, rom-coms that we know of, Sleepless in Seattle, and they were all in the same for adults. But the kids ones actually kind of got into that category as well a little bit, aside from being coming-of-age flicks too.
Yeah, and we had the John Hughes, pantheon, and then you had Nora Ephron. As we aged, the subject matter aged, and we followed along suit.
Totally, yeah.
So yeah, I was poking around, and there was all these lists, and Vogue had a pretty good list because it was pretty extensive and covered a wide range of eras. It wasn't completely current. It was mostly current, but it wasn't. So they had about 73.
All movies.
Yes, all movies, just movies. This was just a movie list. It wasn't about the sitcoms. So it was a pretty comprehensive list, though. Palm Springs, as I mentioned, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Always Be My Maybe, also on it. Did you ever see The Big Sick?
No. Yes, that's
Kumail Nanjiani
and his wife Emily.
Well, she wrote it. I don't think she stars in it. Right, and then Ray Romano's in it, and
I saw it on
Holly Hunter.
I saw it on an airplane.
It's a story of how they met, right?
Yep.
Because I think she gets some kind of she goes into a coma
in the movie.
It's just so funny. We're just laughing.
Wow. But it's terrible because he's like, I think they were dating, sort of. They just started dating, and he would go see her in the hospital when she got sick, and then he meets the parents.
Yeah.
And then he kind of gets to be really, and the parents are in the movie are Ray Romano and Holly Hunter. And they just get really close and all that stuff. And then when she finally comes to, it's like, hey, how you doing? It was a really, really good movie. What else did they mention? Broadcast News. It was on like a couple weeks ago. It was on TV. And my wife was watching. It holds up pretty good.
Yeah, I would think it would.
It's very funny. It's very, very funny.
The flop sweat scene in it.
Oh my God.
That's just one of the funniest scenes.
It's so funny.
I mean, that if anything was tailor made for Albert Brooks and his neuroses.
That's just it's tremendous.
And he played it so well.
Yeah. We could do a whole episode. We could do a whole podcast on Albert Brooks movies.
Oh my God, he's hysterical. Wow, Defending Your Life. That's another
that's sort of a different episode. That's episode 10.
That's a rom-com.
That's episode 10.
It is a rom-com, actually. You're right.
He's a funny guy. I mean, do you have any favorites that you've seen over the years, or ones that you've rewatched over and over again?
Rom-coms?
Yeah, that's the topic, buddy boy. Come on.
I thought you meant Albert Brooks movies.
No.
Sleepless in Seattle. That's a good one.
I haven't seen that one in a long time.
I haven't either, but when they come on and you know, oh, hey, there it is. And you'll sit through parts of them. They're fun. What's on your list?
I think Sleeps in Seattle, Harry Met Sally, You've Got Mail, and I'm a sucker for Love Actually. I watch that all the time.
Do you?
The kids are always like, "What is wrong with you?"
You know what I got sucked into a while ago? It was, I think I fell asleep on the couch. I woke up at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and Notting Hill was on.
Yeah.
That's a good one. It's a good one.
You just start watching it. I mean, what's his name is great.
Hugh
Grant is just
Hugh Grant.
He's just such a wackadoodle. Him.
Well, and he Love Actually, same thing. You know, it's just a very watchable. The cast is really talented actors.
It's funny stuff. And then see, the thing is that there's a few that I, of course, always have a soft spot for, because it was like, you know, it was like right around college time, and we're all going with our friends to go see the movie. So like Moonstruck, and When Harry Met Sally, and The Princess Bride.
Marriage.
You know, it's just like the golden era, you know. And I think two of them are Rob Reiner movies.
Yep. Yeah. Pretty Woman, Green Card, Clueless.
Clueless is in there. Should I keep going with the list?
Sure.
Clueless was after Lost in Translation.
There you go.
The Graduate, Sleepless in Seattle, Moonstruck, Bridget Jones' Diary, The Princess Bride, Groundhog Day, The Wedding Singer, which is a fine film.
Wedding Singer.
Oh, The Wedding Singer is hysterical. The Wedding Singer is actually really good. It's one of the better, I think, Adam Sandler movies. And Drew Barrymore was really good in it, too. What else we got here? Tootsie. Something Wild. I haven't seen that one in years. Did you ever see that?
Who's that?
That is with Jeff Daniels and Melanie Griffith, and I think...
Oh, yes.
And I think Ray Liotta's in it. And this is before Goodfellas. And he is just an absolute wild card. He's really good in it. When Harry Met Sally, There's Something About Mary, Say Anything.
Well, that's in that category we talked about, where it's this kind of a teen movie. It's not really teens, but I guess she's in school. I guess it's still a rom-com.
And you've taken a boombox outside your girlfriend, now wife's house, and stood in the street pledging your love and affection, right?
Yes, we all have. Yes,
that's how I proposed.
That's right. There you go.
That was my serenade right on Race Street in like Old City. That's how we did it.
Really?
No.
Oh,
you kidding me?
we had a serenade in Haddonfield. Shamed the Haddonfield people. They know what was going on. These are giant savages dancing and singing in the streets.
Did you really have a band?
They got a guitar player and an accordion player.
Wow!
Look at you cheesy man.
It wasn't me. That was my mother-in-law.
You guys ever see Valley Girl?
I haven't seen that in years. Is that the one with Nicolas Cage?
Yep. And
what else is in that?
The star is what's her name? Deborah Foreman.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, well, she did like 3 movies back in the 80s. That was a good rom-com.
Rambo? Did you see Rambo? That was a
good one.
I like that.
What else we got here? We got the Wedding Singer, Tootsie. I said That's Something Wild, When Harry Met Sally, Something About Mary. Blah, 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 say anything. Crazy Stupid Love.
I don't remember.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that a bunch of times.
That's the one with Steve Carell.
Steve Carell
and
Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone and well, I can't remember the redhead.
Marissa Tomei.
No, she's in it.
No, Julianne Moore.
Julianne Moore.
I like Julianne Moore. Let's see, Crazy Stupid Love. Then you've got
Kevin Bacon, because you need more links to Kevin Bacon.
Is 10 Things I Hate About You in there?
No, but it could be.
That's a good one too. But Heath Ledger,
Jerry Maguire. You got your Love Actually that you mentioned, and here's one that's kind of a bit of a stretch, but I guess I kind of get it. Wall-E. I mean, it's a love story between 2 robots, right?
Yeah,
sure. Why not? Coming to America, and then you got Working Girl and High Fidelity.
High Fidelity is great for the lists.
Did you guys see Splash?
Splash is a good one too.
That was a good one too. Tom
John
Hanks.
Candy.
Yes.
No. Yeah, John Candy is Tom Hanks' brother.
But I enjoy them. I think they're just a lot of fun. And they're, like I said, very rewatchable. Then you got your bromance, which, of course, I Love You Man is the king of bromance.
Yep.
That
any buddy movie's a bromance, right?
Yeah, for the most part. But that one really is, though. That one really kind of takes it to the next level.
Was Definitely Maybe on that list?
Definitely Maybe.
Definitely Maybe. It's a Ryan Reynolds movie where he's got a daughter. It's Abigail Breslin playing his daughter. And he's trying to explain to her who her mother is. And he goes through this convoluted story about 3 women that he was in love with and tries to have her pick which one is her mother. And it's just one of these really strange things, but it's really well acted. And it's, I think Isla Fisher's in it and Rachel Weisz. And I'm not sure who the other potential mother is.
Speaking of Rachel Weisz, There was a movie that made another list that I looked up. Have you heard of this movie called The Lobster?
No, what's that?
It is really bizarre. It's Colin Farrell, Rachel Weisz, and it's by the guy that did The Favorite. It's really bizarre. It's sort of dystopian, and I think it's shot in Ireland. And I think the thing is that, after a certain point, if you can't find a mate, you go off to this like resort, and I guess all these people are there looking for love and looking to get married and have kids and all that. And if it doesn't work out, you have to pick the animal that you want to be kind of like turned into. It's sort bizarre. Of weird. It was actually pretty good, but it was just so out there. It was so
Olivia
out there.
Colman's in it.
Is she
John C. Reilly? So weird.
It really, really bizarre. And Colin Farrell decides he wants to be a lobster for whatever reason. But it is just a really freaky movie. And then there's like this whole group of people that are kind of like trying to break away from this whole thing and trying to rise up. It's whacked out. It's a really whacked out movie. But I kind of got sucked in, and I think it's available on Netflix. So
that is weird.
Not HBO Max this time.
Not HBO Max.
I saw it.
Future sponsor of this podcast.
Yeah, I don't know. Not the way we're going, but who knows? Yeah. So they're always interesting. They're always fun to watch.
Mike, you got any want to mention, or we hit a lot of them?
You hit pretty much everything.
We did it the biggies, didn't we?
Yeah.
I have a rom-com TV show that I just binged. I just watched it on Netflix this week, and it's called Love and Anarchy, and it's Swedish.
Look at you, Mr. International.
So I've gone through the Israeli, the Hebrew stuff, Spanish stuff, Italian things, Japanese, and now I'm on another language, Swedish. I'm actually watching.
Hey, and you know what's great about this? This counts as reading.
It sort of does. Yeah, I kind of feel like multilingual now. So this is an interesting show. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. It's about a woman, late 30s, I guess, maybe early 40s, married, mom of two, wants to get back in the workforce. She's a business consultant, and she goes to work for a small book publishing house. I think it's in Stockholm. It's kind of antiquated, and the owner's trying to get, kind of push the company into new areas, and he knows he needs to do that because nobody reads books. And so she comes in to kind of go over things and kind of push the company forward in some way as a consultant. And so there's a bit of an office, like The Office, like the show. There's a little bit of office stuff going on, between there's a receptionist, and there's a old school book editor and a new school book editor, and they're all kind of at each other, while the company's trying to go forward. But there's also an IT guy at this company. He's a kid. He's in his 20s.
This is Swedish show, you said?
Swedish. Okay. And the first week that this woman is working there, she's working late in her office. And it's one of those offices just like on The Office where it's all glass windows, and they have like shades, right? And she's in her office working. Nobody else is in the building, she thinks. And she, I can't really say what she does, but she does something that you normally do at home by yourself. And she doesn't know.
Taking care of business? Is that what you're saying?
She's taking care of business. And this IT guy happens to be nearby, and he takes a picture of her. So the next day, he doesn't confront her. He kind of thinks it's funny. He's a kid. And he sees her in the lunch area in the office and shows her the picture, and she flips out, right?
Gee, I wonder why.
And she wants the camera, she wants the picture, she wants everything. And he says no. And she's very upset. And he finally says, "You can have him back if you go to lunch with me." And they don't know each other at all. He's just the annoying IT guy in the office. She says, "Fine, we'll go to lunch." So they go to lunch, and he picks the place, and it's like a mall burger place. They're in the mall and they're having burgers. And she doesn't care anything about what he's saying. She doesn't want anything about him. She just wants the pictures. And so they have their lunch, and he finally says, "Okay, here's the camera. You can delete the pictures, the phone." She takes the phone from him. And she says, "If you want the phone back, you have to do this." So the show is it starts off with a series of kind of dares between them of doing things to get whatever back. And the phone or her lipstick case, back and forth, well, of course, it develops into a relationship. And it's her being at this point in her life where she's not real happy at home. And he's a kid, lives with 2 other guys. He's growing weed in his bedroom, and they kind of get together. Then there's the whole inner office things with the officers are going on. I really enjoyed it. I really thought the writing was really, really good. And who knew I'd like Swedish TV? And it was for Netflix. It's one of those Netflix originals.
How long are the episodes?
Half hour. It's funny. Some of it's kind of dark, because it's
a little bit.
But the fun stuff's fun. It's one you don't want to watch with the kids. There's some adult stuff going on.
Mike just shaking his head.
I know Mike will never see these. Mike will never see these. Maybe they'll be on in about 10 years still. The other thing I watched this week, not a rom-com.
But if we moved off of rom-coms and now going on to what we watched?
Yeah. So, maybe we should get some more whiskey first.
Hey, we should do that. Let's have a drink. Let's not jump ahead too far.
I'm switching to the Brooklighting 20.
Ooh. Very nice.
Had a little bit of that left.
Where'd you get that one? Where'd you get that?
I had it the wonder of mini bottles. I had some that I poured off a while ago.
From where?
I had a bottle of it, apparently. I probably bought a bottle for a bottle share a while ago. And,
oh, wow.
To clear out space.
Was it independent bottling or is it a Brooklighting?
It's a Brooklighting bottling.
Nice. I'm moving on because I hit the Jinquila a couple times. So I'm moving on to the Del Maguey Vida Mezcal.
You still have that? You haven't finished it?
No. That's the Pachuga. The Pachuga's gone.
Oh, Pachuga.
We killed Pachuga about 6 episodes ago.
I am on the single malt of Scotland, Orkney 2006 14-year-old at 60.6. That's another Impex present.
Whiskey with a 6.
I thought you guys did that one.
We did.
You did.
We probably did, yeah. So, odds are it's a Highland Park.
Only that or Scapa, right? Mm-hmm. I'm sure it's HP.
Once again.
Ding.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. How rude of me.
Ding, ding.
Wait, hold on.
Mine's broken. There you go.
I'll do it for you. Ready?
Ding, ding.
Ding.
Yeah. I like this Del Maguey. It's so good.
The older HPs are better than the new ones. I'm not a big new HP guy.
Hewlett Packard, yeah, they suck.
Hewlett Packard, they suck.
Yeah, get a Dell or an Apple. I'm thinking that's where you want to go. Oh, Highland Park. I'm sorry. I got confused. I guess HP on that.
Orkney.
Oh, Orkney.
Yeah, I had no idea Hewlett Packards are made on Orkney.
I didn't either.
Learn something new every day.
Maybe that's part of the problem.
Weirdly, their factory is right next to a distillery. I don't get it. So, what else have we watched this week, guys?
I got a long list. Mike?
My daughter came home from school and the Super Bowl. That monopolized most of my time.
That'll do it. Well, we can talk
Super Bowl was a stinker if you wanted the Chiefs to win.
God, it was horrible.
It was a great game if you wanted Tom Brady to win.
Pretty low rated as usual. Every year is like a low rated Super Bowl, it seems like. And this year you kind of thought it might be highly rated because where's everybody else? What are you going to do? But I think people exited out quickly.
Well, everybody was watching Love and Anarchy on Netflix.
Probably.
Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah.
The word's out, man. The buzz is out.
I had it on. I was sort of watching, sort of not watching, and kind of looking up more about the commercials. And,
the commercials weren't great either, though.
No.
It seemed like there was better ones in the second half. And, by that time, you didn't want to really watch anymore.
Yeah. You were done.
I think the funniest one, I really like the Alexa one with Michael B. Jordan. That was hysterical. Where the woman was just, the wife was like just fantasizing about Michael B. Jordan all the time. And she's like in a tub. And he's like, Alexa, read me a book as Michael B. Jordan. And he's like reading the book. It was hysterical. It was just so funny. And the husband's just losing his mind. What are you doing? It was great. That was good. That was a really good one. And I don't know, some of them were just terrible. Like the Mila Kunis and what's his name? Ashton Kutcher one?
Ashton Kutcher, yeah.
Was it Doritos or Cheetos?
Cheetos, yeah, it was terrible.
Ugh.
And the Will Ferrell one with the electric cars going to Norway.
That was weird. So complicated.
Weird.
Yeah.
Very convoluted.
Is that Allstate with Drake?
Yeah, that actually wasn't bad.
I like that.
And Paul Rudd is the Patrick Mahomes stand-in.
Yes.
That was actually kind of funny.
I don't think I missed that one.
Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers are sitting in their chair waiting to go in, and they have the actor who's blocking the set for them. So it's their stand-in. Rodgers is a guy who looks like Rodgers. And Mahomes is like, well, at least you got a guy who looks like you. And they turn and it's Paul Rudd. And he's got a ball. And he's like, it's like looking in the mirror, isn't it? And he goes to throw it. He drops the football. And Jake from State Farm goes over to talk to them. And they turn around and they're like, is that Drake? And he's like, what are you talking about? It's just my stand-in. He's like, I'm Drake from State Farm.
That's funny.
It actually was Drake, who I had no idea he was that big a guy. He's a pretty big guy, Drake.
He was really big.
Yeah,
I thought he was gonna, you see him at basketball games. He doesn't seem that large.
Yeah, but that's because when you're standing amongst giants, of course,
but he also gets to say khakis, which is it's just great.
It was a very funny. It was a funny.
That was good.
It was not a good game. The announcer was horrible. Who was announcing the game?
Tony Romo and
I don't know, but every single time, it's almost like they put they put the Maloiks on Mahomes.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna pull it out in that fourth quarter. He's gonna every single time, and then interception.
So
and then sacked.
He's just running for his life.
You have
the line just laid down.
The hardest thing in televised sports is to keep people interested when it's blowing.
To get them to not see what they're seeing.
And to get them not to turn the TV off, especially on the Super Bowl, because all those advertisers are paying millions for eyeballs.
What they should have done at halftime was use the long snapper and send Mahomes like 12 yards deep. Just to be like, I don't have any kind of time. It's under center, the usual shotgun. I'm going back where the punter stands. I might have a chance.
Yep. The halftime thing was funny and crazy and weird.
I missed it. I walked away.
I had it on, but the funniest thing was following Twitter during that, and it was hilarious. It was
people
more
questioning why I'm watching a bunch of athletic supporters dancing around.
Yes. What's the deal with the masks?
Yeah,
people spelling weekend with END and not
there's no E. Buy a vowel.
It was so funny. What else you guys got for the last couple weeks?
I watched this one show. I was on one of the groups on Facebook for a podcast that we like, and this one show keeps popping up. A show called Wayne, and it was on Amazon Prime or Prime Video, whatever you want to call it. It used to be on YouTube TV when that was a thing back in 2019. I think it was part of the whole Cobra Kai thing where they brought it back. And, then the show I think got pretty good reviews at the time, but it didn't have a big audience. Prime picked it up, and now it's kind of getting a second life. It was really good. I think it was 10 episodes.
I watched
30 minutes each. Takes place in what was it, Brockton, Massachusetts or something, outside of Boston. And it was, working class neighborhood. And there's this one kid, Wayne, and he's kind of I don't know, would you say like a Dirty Harry kind of thing?
A loner who also wants to do the right thing for people, and
he can't stand people being bullied.
Yeah.
So and his dad was the same way, and he just winds up getting into fights with everybody. You see some kid getting bullied, and he's just taking everybody on. And
he lives with his father, who's pretty much bedbound, and he's in high school, and he's not at school a lot.
And it's a tough school. It's a tough working class school. They don't have computers, and people are beating up on each other, and a whole lot of bullying.
And then he meets a girl.
And the girl's name, the actress is Ciara Bravo. So her character's Dell, and she's great. She's really good in the show. This girl is really, really good. And it's an interesting show. Within the first couple episodes, I think the dad eventually dies. The mom ran out on the dad.
When the kid was 5.
Right. When the kid was 5, she ran out. She went down to Florida with her dad's Trans Am. It was like a gold Trans Am with the eagle on the cover.
Yeah.
The eagle on the hood. And, so dad dies. Wayne is kind of pretty much just he burned the house to the ground with his dad in the house.
He's bitter. He owes money for rent to whoever owns the house, and he decides that's it. Burning the house down. I'm out of here. I'm gone. I'm gonna go get that car from my mom down in Florida because it's really my car. My dad wanted me to have it.
And he's a troubled kid, but everybody's kind of. The higher ups are kind of behind him. The principal really likes him. Mike O'Malley is the actor. He was on a couple shows, I think.
CBS shows. Yeah, he's on a show because the Mike O'Malley show.
Yeah, he's really good. He's really, really good in this. And he was in The Good Place too for a little bit. Yep. He had a small part in The Good Place. So the principal's behind him, and there's this guy who's a goofy sheriff. Actor's name is Stephen Fearon. and he's just really bizarre. He's just really, really weird.
And he's trying to figure out where'd this kid go? How did the house burn down? What's the story? But you got the story about the girl is critical because she's got her own bad background. Her mom took off, and when her
mom didn't take off. Her mom died.
Her mom died, but her mom had some issues, and so she's been living with her father, who is
Dean Winters. Yeah, he was in Sex and the City. He was on Divorce. Yeah, he was a big character in Oz back in the day. He was Ryan O'Reilly in Oz.
So he's
fantastic.
He's a tough bastard who he's got two twins sons who are older, who are doofuses, and somehow through happenstance the daughter meets Wayne. She decides she's going to go with him to Florida to get this car.
They're like juniors or seniors in high school?
She's younger than him. I think she's 15 and he's 16, or maybe it's 16 and 17. Yeah. And so they're just going to take off. She's got some cash. They're going to go and they're going to get this car, but they don't even know each other. And they get on his motorcycle and they go. And this father, he and the two dopey sons go after them. So it's a chase to get the daughter back. At the same time, the cop and his
deputy, whatever,
go to Florida to get Wayne. And the principal from the school, Michael Malley,
it's absolute mayhem.
He goes too. He's on his own way because he wants to save the kid. And Wayne's best friend convinces Michael Malley that we need to go down to Florida and save Wayne. So there's 3 parties going down to Florida.
It's absolute mayhem, and there is just
a lot of violence. A lot of.
It's a road trip.
It's a road trip.
It's like Bing Crosby and Bob Hope, right?
Without.
It's more like it's a mad world.
Yeah. And so it's a race to get down there, and Wayne and Delilah, they have to stop on the way, various places, to find a place to stay. And they meet up with spring break kids, and they meet up and they have to avoid the cop. Do they like each other? That's the romance between the two of them. Are they a thing? And they not a thing? They barely know each other. And I was totally entertained by it. I binged it in a couple days.
It's absolutely insane.
I was actually disappointed because I misread the little thing on the screen. I thought there was 2 seasons. So when I got to the last episode, oh, great, season 2. Oh, there's no season 2. That was season 1. What the hell happened?
But there's been a pretty big, kind of after the initial release kind of campaign going to get season 2 produced.
Oh, good. I didn't even know about it until you mentioned it to me.
Yeah, I just kind of stumbled upon it, and I thought it was really, really, really entertaining.
And I compared it to that show that was on Netflix.
It's the end of the effing world.
A young Bonnie and Clyde rom-com, I guess.
Uh-huh.
See, I thought the whole thing was centered on Bruce Wayne, and it was the business stuff, the business side of it. So you didn't get to see Batman, just him going to the office and do business deals. Not much of a show. I was totally wrong. I don't know what I thought.
Well, boy, should we move on?
I think so.
Well, there was one thing I watched that I need to go back to because Angelo brought it up to me and made it sound so horrible. I had to watch this. And my gut reaction was keep your expectations really, really low. And I watched over the last 2 mornings while riding my bike, I watched Little Things.
Oh, God.
Now, I have to say, maybe because I kept my expectations so low, I wasn't disgusted by it.
I'm not going to say it was horrible, but I think for the talent pool.
Yeah.
I think that's where the disappointment. I don't like Jared Leto. I'm not a big fan of him. Rami Malek, I don't think he was right for the detective role.
I agree.
Because I think he's just too weird and too offbeat of an actor.
I was annoyed within 3 minutes of the start of this movie with the girl who's being chased and she stops and gets out of the car and runs through the desert or wherever she runs to.
Why did you stop your car?
Why do you stop and get out of the car?
Never stop the car.
Never stop the car. Never get out of the car and try to get into the closed diner in the middle of nowhere.
That's the commercial. In horror movies, people will do things that are stupid. Let's hide behind the chainsaws. Yeah. Why don't we get in the running car?
I really thought that, this is the modern era. This is 2021. That's still going to happen in a big time movie. What the hell?
Well, I don't think the movie takes place now, though, right? It's a bit of a period piece.
No, I mean that it's produced.
Oh, yeah.
You put it that way.
Yeah. There are many afflictions with this movie. I agree with you about Rami Malek. I will forever think of him now as Freddie Mercury. And he looks like him, right? Watching him try to be a detective in Los Angeles is weird too. He doesn't look like a guy in a suit and tie.
Maybe if you told me he was like an FBI agent. Usually, the LA detectives, or they always seem like a little more, not scruffy, but
yeah.
I mean, they're cops in a suit.
That was an issue. I really liked Denzel Washington. And
absolutely.
I liked old Denzel Washington. He played that character very well on a very low energy way. It wasn't over the top.
Did you see it, Mike?
You gave such a ringing endorsement. Unlike Aaron, who decided, I've got to go see this. Well, I did not rush to go see it.
I have to say, I really expected to watch a half hour of it and just say, I watched a half hour. It was
I made it through to the end.
I did too.
So I was sort of intrigued, but
I wasn't crazy about the ending. It felt formulaic. The Los Angeles part of it was dumbed down. I mean, it could have been anywhere. It didn't have to be Los Angeles. Yeah. It didn't feel like Los Angeles to me in any way. It was mostly indoors.
Now, the guy that wrote it and directed it, I mean, he's made a couple other movies. I mean, he did the Founder, the one about the McDonald's, and I thought that was great. I really enjoyed that movie. That was really fun. And he also did Saving Mr. Banks, which I thought was a really good movie.
It wasn't great. It wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen. I just thought that there was some. It was too long. There was some significant issues in the plot, much like a movie from another era, like you'd expect in a bad cop movie. But that's the worst thing. It was okay.
I mean, Denzel Washington is infinitely watchable, even in a really bad movie.
Yep, he's really
so. Good. I mean, he could save the day in a few, but not with this.
Yeah,
it was. No, I don't know. It was weird. It was just it was a weird movie,
but not as bad as I was really.
Well, because I lowered your expectations.
You did. You lowered them to the bottom of the earth.
So far, unfortunately, sorry HBO Max, but your two big movie releases, because I think they're doing like one a month.
Yeah,
Wonder Woman. Not so good. Yeah. This one, not so good.
Nope.
So hopefully,
and again, this is why you release these movies in January and February in the dead season, because you know that they're not good movies. So if they were good movies, you wouldn't release them now. So they probably tested them to similar markets and decided, similar to you, not so good.
So what else are we watching right now?
Still going with Dark. We're kind of like stalled with that. We're about 8 episodes.
You said that was on Netflix?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
That's German.
It's bizarre. Yeah, there's all kinds of like crazy time.
I'm not ready to jump to Germany yet. I'm still in Sweden, so
they've got like all kinds of crazy time travel going on with this. It's like 33 is the magic number, so they go back 33 years from now, and then they go back another 33 years. So they're in the 50s, the 80s, and the 2010s. Crazy stuff. We just watched the second to the last episode of Your Honor. And oh my God, this show is just bonkers.
You're sticking with it.
We're sticking with it. I mean, you want to keep going with it just because it's so freaking ridiculous, So okay, like here's one for instance. So the boy who kills the mobster's kid is like having a thing with his photography teacher in high school. So he's like 17, she's probably like 24, 25, right? So they're having a thing. He tells her what she did. Now he gets romantically involved with the mobster's daughter. She finds out about this whole thing. The teacher, all this stuff. And it's like, he was supposed to go to NYU school, and the teacher quits her job and she's going to move to NYU. And he tells her, well, no, I didn't get accepted. I didn't get in. But then the dad confronts the girl and says, oh, listen, he got in. You should really convince him. And she's like, really? So it's a whole bunch of things. Everybody's trying to lie. Somebody else is telling the truth to somebody else, and everything gets revealed. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. But it's just kind of fun because it's a fun movie to just kind of talk through. So as bad as it is, there's that. Like some shows you just got to be like, shh, you might miss a point. This is more like, are you kidding me? Are these the dumbest people on the face of the earth?
At least if it's well acted.
Yeah.
Cranston's good,
Cranston's good, yeah. Stolberg is like chewing some scenery. And the fact that he's supposed to be Scottish still cracks me up. I'm just like, what? Really? I don't know. It's just bizarre. It's bizarre. So we're still sticking with that. I've been watching bits and pieces of The League. Have you heard of this one?
Is that the fantasy football thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got a hell of a cast.
TNT or TBS?
Yeah, it was on TNT.
Yeah.
Or maybe TBS. Yeah.
It's got a crazy... I mean, the cast is deep. Yeah. Talk about a deep bench on this show. So you got Mark Duplass, however you say his name, Nick Kroll, Paul Scheer, and then you get like later on, I was looking through like all the people that have been on the show. They get Jason Mantzoukas, who's on everything. I think they're all friends. So I think that I think they really are.
He's America's Guest.
I think they're all buddies.
He is America's Guest.
Because they're all on Big Mouth.
Yeah,
I
it's
can't
Big
think of
Mouth.
it.
Yeah, it's Big Mouth. I just
Big Mouth.
Googled it.
But then for like later on, they get Jason Mantzoukas, they get Jeff Goldblum, Rich Eisen, Brie Larson, whole bunch of people.
Wow.
It goes on for like I think it was like 6 seasons apparently.
Yeah, it's 84 episodes. Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
It is definitely pretty funny. And it's more than just sports. It's the whole thing with the wives and all the relationships there and who's married and who's getting divorced and who's seeing who. It's a funny show. It's pretty funny. So I'll probably just like it's going to be the kind of thing where it's like I got nothing better to do. I'll just put it on, and watch an episode or two.
That was TNT or TBS, right?
I don't know, but right now it's on Hulu. But it's not bad. I watched a little bit of it. I like the cast too. I like Mark Duplass or Duplass, whatever his name is. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I know who he is. But he's pretty good.
Him and his brother.
He was in a show on HBO a while ago, Togetherness, I think it was called, and Amanda Pete's in it, and he's in it, and a few other folks. That was actually really good. What else am I watching? Dark, I mentioned. Your Honor. You know what I watched The Maltese Falcon the other night.
Ooh, really? I haven't seen that in a long time.
I was just like, it was like Saturday night. It was like 6:00. Nothing was going on. We just had a quick dinner. I was like, let me pop this on. It's like an hour and 40 minutes.
Sidney Greenstreet.
Peter Lorre.
Oh, my God. Sidney Greenstreet, Peter Lorre,
the
Mary
big wickerback chair. He's a bad man.
Don't forget the most important part, though. Humphrey Bogart. Sam Spade. He was really good. He is really the best thing in the show. Peter. No, Mary Astor.
Oh, Mary Astor.
Lauren Bacall's in, like, I think The Big Sleep with him.
Yeah.
And a few others.
Yeah,
it's a really good movie. It's a good story. I like that there's this one scene where they're all in there and he's making a big, like, to-do. He's getting all in everybody's face and all this stuff. And then he leaves the apartment room and he's just laughing. Like, I just pulled the wool over their eyes.
I just stirred the pot. Bye-bye.
Oh, he was great. He's just so good. It's good. Oh, you know who else is in it? I was watching it. I'm looking at it. I'm like, who is that guy? And it was the guy that played Perry White in like the 1950s Superman. Yeah.
The TV Perry White.
Yeah. In the old like 50s one with Christopher Reeves. Was that? No, George Reeves.
George Reeves.
Well, they're both Superman. They're both Reeves.
Yes.
Which is kind of weird. And I tried to watch Gomorrah. I got one episode in, and that's
season
good.
1 or
season 2.
Oh, not the newest one. Okay.
Yeah, season 2. 3
now. Okay.
Yeah, so I jumped into that, and that was intriguing. I gotta find time between doing all this stuff and work. It just hasn't enough time. So, but that's all I got right now.
Mike,
that is all I got.
You were TV'd out because of family.
Nothing. I got nothing.
You got nothing. Not even a movie.
All over again.
What about Batgirl or Batwoman?
You guys have dumped so much summer reading on me that I'm in the midst of it. My son is youngest. He's monopolized all the time and found that Teen Titans is on HBO Max now. So we're into season 2.5 of that. And
what is Teen Titans?
Is that a cartoon?
A cartoon version of the Sidekicks, who are now
it's Robin,
high school age or older, and their interactions with the Justice League.
DC thing.
He's huge into DC on TV anyway.
That's actually is that the funny one?
No. That's a whole different one. That's where they're like slapstick kind of thing. Yeah.
That's Teen Titans Go, right?
Teen Titans Go.
That's hysterical.
So we're into this one, and each episode introduces another sidekick. Somebody's daughter, somebody's niece, somebody's whatever, and they bring them all in.
One of my things that I wanted to go back to watch, I don't know if we talked about this before, I want to go back and watch the Clone Wars series.
Yeah.
I watched the first 2 seasons long ago, and I don't know what season they're up to now, but I really kind of want to watch them because there's a Mandalorian connection, right?
Yeah.
And so
Ahsoka?
Yeah, well, lots of things, but I want to kind of piece it all together,
Well, in the last Star Wars movie, when she's fighting and she hears all the other past Jedis say stuff, several people from the Clone Wars are voiceover people in that, calling her name out.
Oh,
and
nice.
It's funny because the boys also watch that, and they'd be like, that was that one. Oh, wait, that one too. So it's kind of funny that it, like you said, it all kind of interacts. It all is interwoven in the story.
So 2 things for me. One that I want to watch, and it's this show, I think it's on BBC, I believe. It's called The Watch. And whenever I hear it, it's on BBC America. Whenever I hear The Watch, I think of the podcast Ange that we listen to with Greenwald and
Greenwald and Simpson. No, wait, that's a movie.
right.
Greenwald and Ryan.
That's right, Greenwald and Ryan. And so it's a British thing, and it's this weird. When I walk in, my head just kind of explodes. It's like a dystopian, weird world, but it's sort of current and it's episodic. It's sort of like a city cop kind of show, except that there's like monsters and they're part of the police force and they talk in some weird language and they have subtitles and they're kind of goofy and
what the hell is this thing called?
Yes, it's weird. And Richard Dormer's in it from Game of Thrones, and Sam Adewale, who's been in, I think he was in the Doctor Who. It's weird. I've walked by it a few times. My wife is just totally, and it's a weekly series, so she was watching every week. So I think I want to check that thing out. The other thing that I'm actually watching, going back to my Swedish thing, another Netflix show that I happened to find called Caliphate. Caliphate? How do you say it? Caliphate? Like that? Like ISIS Caliphate? It's a Swedish show based on the 2015 or so, 3 British girls who are radicalized by ISIS.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I think I heard something about this.
But it's a Swedish version of this.
Okay.
And it basically takes place in 2 worlds. It's in Syria. There is a woman who happens to be the younger book editor on the other Swedish show, Love and Anarchy.
Because there's only 12, like Israel, right?
I think it's the same thing. There's only 12 actors in all of Sweden. And she is married to and has a baby with one of the guys in the ISIS group,
right,
where she lives. But she wants out. And a friend of hers gives her a cell phone, and it's Sharia law. So no women are allowed to have phones, right, and they, can't be in public, and etc. So she uses this phone and gets a phone number of a woman who's a Swedish police officer in Sweden who works on a intelligence task force or some task force. And so she's communicating with her to get out. Right. And this cop wants to help her to get out, but she needs more information to take to her bosses. While that's going on, there is the radicalization going on of some women, young girls, high school girls, in Stockholm by one of the leaders of this ISIS group.
Did they suffer from Stockholm syndrome?
They will. They are. There's yes.
Come on, I can help it.
So
Please, try to help it.
It's pretty intense.
Why start now?
It's pretty intense. I'm like halfway through. I think it's like 8 or 10 episodes, but it's a little bit scary. Interesting hearing it from a non-American point of view because it's actually a Swedish point of view.
Right.
So it's not a laugh out loud comedy. I can tell you that. Anything else before we move on to our last segment and any more whiskeys?
I'm kind of curious about this Love and Anarchy show.
Yeah, I recommend it.
I'm going for A Day at the Seaside.
Oh,
A Day at the Seaside. We just reviewed that, didn't we?
We just reviewed it.
I didn't post it yet.
What is it?
Bottle 53.281 from the Society. It's one of 269, and it comes in at 60.1.
Which one was that?
And 53 is our good friends at Kalila.
Oh, Kalila. Yum.
Because if the cask is from Isla, they haven't disclosed where it's from.
It's probably from
Kalila.
So should we move on to our next topic, which is our new topic that we added on our last episode?
Yep.
We're going to look at folks that have passed away and kind of remember them in the entertainment world.
The departed?
The dearly
departed?
Calling it the dearly departed.
The dearly departed. Not to make fun.
The first name on our list that we have is Jamie Tarsis. And that's a name that people probably don't know, who are just TV watchers or movie watchers. But Jamie Tarsis was the head of NBC. She was the head of comedy development at NBC. She's, I think, 52 when she passed away a couple days ago, last
56.
week. 56. And she would, back in the 90s, she worked on Mad About You or helped develop News Radio, Caroline in the City, Frasier, this thing called Friends. And then she moved on and she was hired at ABC to be the head of programming. So she was the youngest head of programming in TV history and the first woman. And so she had a mixed bag there at ABC, but she was a groundbreaker. I know her well only because of her father, Jay Tarsis. And Jay Tarsis was a director and producer of TV going back to the first Bob Newhart show and many other shows during the 70s and 80s. So Jamie Tarsis, first one on the list. Mary Wilson from the Supremes passed away a couple of days ago. Part of one of the biggest R&B groups from Motown. She
was 76 years old.
Yeah.
12 number one hits by a group, the most ever still. Has been passed, and into the third class at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So after they got through the first two groups, and they decided they're only going to put in 5 a year after that.
Yep.
She was part of that
third
class of 5 that went in.
Diana Ross is still alive. I don't know about the
Diana Ross is still alive.
Yep. I don't know about
I think everyone else from the original group has now passed on.
Oh, so
and one of the people who replaced somebody, I believe, also has passed on.
Wow.
Because, well, they're in their 70s, you know.
Sure. Yep.
And some of them may have been even older than that.
They were just so large, big stars. I know. I remember seeing them showing up on all those TV shows back in the 70s.
And now her daughter is on Blackish.
Is that right? Diana Ross's daughter?
Diana Ross's daughter.
Ah, I did not know that. Another big name, maybe I don't know if the biggest name of the last week or so, but 2 weeks. Christopher Plummer.
Ah, yes.
Christopher Plummer was virtually an unknown. And when he was 81, he was nominated for his first Academy Award. And then at 82, he won finally. And then at 88, he was nominated for the third and final time. Virtually unknown. I don't think people knew his work till he was in his late 80s, really.
Yeah.
This is just a revered Canadian, given a Canadian honor in the early 60s, which would be equivalent to the Kennedy Center honors or something along those lines. And then as the Queen has aged, every milestone she hits, you get another ribbon or another band on whatever you have. So as she got to 25 years, they brought him back in and gave him another pin. And then for 30 years, another pin. 2 Tony Awards, 2 Emmy Awards, an Academy Award, was nominated for the Grammy. He was in old age, the narrator from the Madeline stories. So if you have a child of our age, they probably had something with Madeline and you listen to it. Especially if you had a girl. He was nominated 7 times for Tonys. He got an award for playing Cyrano de Bergerac and playing John Barrymore. He was nominated. His Emmys were for The Money Changer and for as a narrator for Madeline. And he's just in a tremendous number of great movies. Really great movies.
His first movie was The Fall of the Roman Empire. He played Commodus. That was in 1964. But I guess what really put him on the map was The Sound of Music.
Of course, yeah.
And that was 1965.
Forever connected to Julie Andrews.
And he did a whole bunch of other stuff.
Just read if you just read the people that he played at his IMDb page, everybody he played is someone like, oh, he played Caesar. Oh, he played this person. Oh,
there we go.
How about that?
He played Rommel.
Yep.
Oedipus.
Yeah.
He was not playing unknowns when he was cast for something.
He always felt to me like a British actor because he had that resume, right?
Yeah.
Not a Canadian. Yeah. He was a British actor. He played all these. He's Shakespearean.
I didn't realize he's in The Man Who Will Be King. We talked about that recently.
Yeah, he's in The Man Who Will Be King.
So he plays Rudyard Kipling.
Who? Rudyard Kipling? Never heard of that.
Never heard of him.
He's in Dolores Claiborne. He's in The Insider, playing Mike Wallace, another unknown. He's in Syriana. He's the bad guy in Up.
That's right.
Where he plays Charles Muntz. He's in 12 Monkeys. We mentioned, at the end, he's in a Denzel Washington movie where he's the inside man. It's a bank heist. It's Clive Owen, Jodie Foster, Denzel Washington. He plays a character in it. It's a very good movie because Denzel Washington is just somebody you watch. Probably would never have seen the movie. Mm-hmm. But, okay, well, that's Christopher Plummer. How about that? And the last thing I saw him in was Knives Out, where he plays the author who dies. And he's just really good in that, too.
He seemed like, you look at that resume.
Yeah.
He wasn't afraid to do stuff.
No.
He wasn't afraid to go beyond, the just voiceover work and TV work and movie work and working into his, 80s. The guy was he was a working actor who also happened to be a great actor.
And he wasn't doing it for the awards because, like I said, he didn't get nominated for an Academy Award until he was 81.
Yeah,
that was his first nomination. He was 82 when he won, and when he was 88, he was brought back in with the Kevin Spacey debacle to redo J. Paul Getty in All the Money in the World. Good long life, good long career.
Let's see. I'll go to the next one, which is Hal Holbrook.
Oh, Hal Holbrook.
Another great.
He's one of those guys.
Solid actor.
Great.
Long career, solid actor. Known for one big thing, portraying Mark Twain on Broadway and
TV, everywhere.
Well, he was 95 years old.
He got 10 Emmy nominations. He won 5 times in 5 different categories. How many people can say they've been in 5 different categories?
Versatility.
He won a Tony Award for playing Mark Twain. He was nominated for Academy Award for late in his career. He's in Into the Wild. And until he was passed by Christopher Plummer, he was the oldest person who'd been nominated for an Academy Award.
Wow.
I think Christopher Plummer passed him when he was nominated for playing J. Paul Getty. Just, another great guy, married to Dixie Carter, where, another great actress, somebody else.
He was on that show
played,
with her.
Played her boyfriend on Designing Women. He played Burt Reynolds' father-in-law on Evening Shade, where every scene he was in, he stole. It was just, he's just a great actor, really good actor.
Solid. Him and Plummer are in that same kind of category.
The thing to me is that when you see them, you don't see Christopher Plummer or Hal Holbrook. You see whoever.
You see their character.
Yeah,
it's them. He was Deep Throat. Right. One of the biggest. Follow the Money. That was him. He said, "Follow the Money."
All the President's Men. I liked him in what's it called? I liked him in The Firm.
Solid actor. And the last one I have on the list was actually from today. Larry Flint died.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Hey, really?
78. Hustler Magazine, Hustler Entertainment. Kind of iconic. He was a little different because he was really aggressive about free speech.
Oh, absolutely.
He was all about free speech issues, and he fought. I think he went to the Supreme Court.
Well, they made a whole movie, right?
The People versus Larry Flint. It was Woody Harrelson played him.
Yep.
Yeah, and got nominated for an Academy Award. It was
that's right.
Milos Forman. Yeah.
So he has an interesting part of entertainment history. Larry Flint, 78. Where are we going next? I guess, guys. We TV talked out for the evening. We have
I think we're getting close to the end here.
It's been an interesting week. Mike's been busy with family and Super Bowl, and I've been trying to get through some TV, and I found a couple good shows that I've kind of been hooked into. And my problem is I'll start something and I forget to go back to that. Luckily, on Netflix, you can see what you've got started and get you back up. And I see I've got a few things that I need to go back to. And one of my daughters keeps reminding me, you need to go back to this anime that we were watching. I'm only on episode like 12 and there's like 38 episodes. And
how's it feel? How's it feel to have the Damocles sword hanging over your head?
You're right.
The two of you giving me more work.
And as soon as you kind of like make some dent in it, all of a sudden there's like 4 more shows that have just come out that you want to see.
There's 4 more movies that Angelo watched he didn't like, but he tells us we should watch them just because you should watch this.
It's all about a conversation.
It's so bad. You should watch it.
It's like going back to whiskey. It's like you have to drink Loch Dew at some point in your life, right?
Yeah. It's true. You can't
gotta have
know
the
good without the bad. You can't know the good.
A nice glass of fishki. Who wants it?
you need the barometer. You need the barometer. Like, you got to go have a Fernet Branca. I happen to love it, but a lot of people don't. So you got to try it. You don't know until you try it. A little fugu. Maybe you'll die. Maybe you won't. You try a little bit of Japanese blowfish.
25%, right? 25%.
Yeah, it's worth a shot. It's all worth a shot.
I have to say, though, I've been really enjoying this trip for me down these international waters of entertainment. And
you have embraced the foreign.
I have
subtitle.
I've always liked them. The problem is the subtitle part. I don't want to.
It's just tough.
The dubbed versions are horrible, and you really need to. And it makes you concentrate more on the show. Anything else, guys?
No, that's all I got right now. I got a few things in the queue. I want to catch up on some movies too. So, Mike, what's on your list? Anything? But you've still got to catch up.
65 things you guys have sent me, plus everything we talked about today that I'm already behind on. I need to learn 6 or 7 languages in case they.
No, you just need to read.
Don't dub them or the subtitles fail. Whatever. I've already quit my job and I'm living in a van down by the river now. So, fortunately, there's a good cable hookup, so I'm okay. Thanks.
As long as you have hookups, that's all you need.
You know what you need? 5G. That's all you need.
5G.
5G.
Verizon Wireless. 5G.
Verizon. Future sponsor.
Or, I'll switch if T-Mobile wants to cash in. I'm cool with that too.
So I think we did our rom-com thing. We're going to, say Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. We're going to end on one little toast of a note. We want to recognize a friend of the Whiskey Fabric who just passed away, Brett Ferrens, the Scotch Trooper. He was in his 40s, I believe, with 2 young children from the Atlanta area. Made his claim to fame by posting pictures on Instagram with Star Wars figurines with whiskey bottles, whiskeys of all brands. Dearly loved by the entire whiskey community from the distillery.
The outpouring of love has been incredible.
It's been, and he really was one of the more unique Instagram posters, Whiskey Fabric people.
Oh, absolutely.
Over 60,000 followers.
Yeah. Yep. And he was taken in by so many distilleries and so many people in the industry. Literally, here, come to my distillery. We want you to come to our distillery. We want you to meet our people here. He was a big proponent of what we do, what we talk about, what we love, this thing called whiskey. And he was gone way too soon. Yes. And there's a GoFundMe page if anyone listening would like to help out his family, who is more than likely got some hospital bills that they're going to have to deal with.
And we'll put a link in the show notes for that.
Yeah. And I believe the GoFundMe page is labeled as Help Scotch Trooper Pay for Cancer Treatment.
Yeah. And as another fundraiser, Love Scotch and Alexander Murray partnered together to release a Scotch Trooper bottling of a 27-year-old Bruichladdich. So this predates Jim McEwen and Mark Renier, and the bottle's available for sale if anyone is interested in purchasing a bottle. They put a cask aside for him, and all the proceeds go to his family.
I think he was an IT guy, and kind of an amateur photographer, I think, who was a very good photographer. And I think he created a studio at his home. I think he built a bar in his home, and I think he had some talks with other folks about doing some other things, branding and such on a bigger level, and it just never completely got there. So cheers to the Scotch Trooper. He was a good friend to the fabric, to the whole industry, and he'll be missed.
Have you ever met him personally?
No, but we talked often, fairly often, on Instagram. And he was a Rush guy, big Rush fan. And he was a big music guy. And we had talked at one point about him coming to LA on a business trip for himself, about getting a little blogger fest like we did in New York together here on the West Coast. And it never came to pass. Yeah. But a really good guy, and he took us on his journey through his treatments.
Yeah, it was cancer. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
From the very beginning, he wasn't hiding it. So he'll be missed. Brett, Scotch Trooper, on to another galaxy. The Love is in the Air episode. Happy Valentine's Day. Don't forget your loved one. Don't forget to get that card. Don't forget to get those flowers, candy, smokes, whatever you need.
Smokes. Here, honey, it's the Palmols you've always wanted.
Some horse. How about some horse? A little Charlie.
There you go. Don't forget.
Lord.
You've always wanted the black tar heroin.
Fentanyl, though. You want the fentanyl lace.
Say it.
That's the good one.
Say it with a carton of smoke.
Who doesn't love ketamine?
That's right. All right, boys. It's been a good one. Happy Valentine's, everybody. And we will see you soon. And where can they find
episode 10?
Episode 10. Where do they find episode 9 is the question.
Where can they find 9? You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Audible, Google Podcasts, or just visit us on boozdancing.com. And if you have questions, comments, and as I said at the beginning, love letters, Dear John letters, questions, whatever you have, shoot us an email at boozdancing@gmail.com. All right, boys.
Cheers, boys. Good night.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye, sweetie.